What is good, everybody? Man, it's your boy Jay in the building. We is back again with another video. Now, before we get this video started, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel, make sure you guys share the video. Alright, so I saw a little conversation that was going on Twitter. It was like, I guess they was asking the question of which HBCU has the most recognizable football brand. I said, that's pretty interesting. So I'm just scrolling through and I'm seeing some very interesting answers. And I'm like, so it made me have to go and really think about it. I'm like, let me really think about this. So I do want to like just kind of narrow it down to like a few schools just for the video purposes. I have my answer, but for video purposes, I do have Jackson State in the mix, of course. Especially within the last, now if they're saying in history, you know, I don't know if they're saying like in history or within the last however many years. Because if we're doing it based off of in the last 10, 15 years, I'll definitely have Jackson State probably 1 or 2, maybe 3. Top 3 for sure. I'll probably still have them top 3, but to list the names, I also have Florida A&M. Yeah, Florida A&M in the mix. I got FAMU in the mix, of course. I have Southern in the mix. I have Grambling State. I have South Carolina State in the mix. I'm going to throw a few names that people I didn't see mentioned, but I'm going to throw out there because I think it's important. I have Tennessee State in the mix. Now, listen, they have, 16 Black College National Championships. They had over at least 110 NFL players come from TSU. Yeah, I think what kind of hurts TSU for the most part is because they don't play in the SWAC or MEAC. I think that's kind of what hurts them, visually. I think the media or the HBCU football media will speak about Tennessee State more if they were at least in the SWAC. Or if they were in the MEAC, they would be talked about more. But if they were in the SWAC, I think they'll especially based off of history, because they have 2 Hall of Famers from TSU. They have about 4 or 5 wins against the FBS. So they do have a really, really good history when it comes to their football history. But like I said before, I think their lack of their coverage because of the conference that they play in, I think it does play a role when it comes to the most recognizable. And I'm going to give out another name that I really didn't see, but I think should get a lot of credit. I'm going to say Tuskegee. Tuskegee has the most wins in terms of amongst everybody in the HBCU world. Like, they have the most wins. And when it comes to attendance, especially for homecoming, like, look, I really couldn't believe my eyes, bro, when I saw the amount of fans they attract during home. They have about 25 to anywhere between 25 and 30,000 people when it comes to their homecoming. And I'm like, there's a lot of Division I schools that don't even attract that much. Even if they were playing in a playoff game, they don't even attract that many people. So, and then when they play in the Turkey Day game versus Alabama State, it's definitely about 25, 30,000 people going to that game too. So I definitely think that Tuskegee deserves some type of love amongst the recognizable. But if I'm going to give an answer, I'm definitely going Grambling State. I'm going Grambling State for sure. If we're going to just go down the history, man, I think Eddie Robinson is the numero uno reason. Like, the amount of NFL players that he produced, like, and for the time that he was there, he did break the all-time record for the most wins by a coach. I think in football period. And dog, he had then listen, we had Doug Williams from Grambling, who we all know the first black quarterback to win the Super Bowl. We got Buck Buchanan, who has a whole award named after him. We have the FCS Defensive Player of the Year award, the Buck Buchanan Award. Yeah, that's named after him. He's also an NFL Hall of Famer. Like, Grambling State has about like 25, 26 SWAC championships. They have 15 black college national championships themselves. And yeah, I think they just have a rich history when it comes to just what comes to the football world period. Now, listen, I'm not even mad at anybody who says FAMU, honestly. I think with FAMU, like what they have about like 31, 32 conference championships. They're tied for the most black college national championships. They literally just won one this past season. And they had about like 60 to 70 players total go to the NFL, but Grambling State got and like over 100, produced over 120, 130 NFL players to come from Grambling. And dog, I think that just speaks to the amount of greatness that Eddie George just sprinkled all over Grambling. And honestly, dog, I really don't think it's close. Me personally. Now, well, I take it back. It is close because FAMU still is the only school to produce an FCS, well back then Division I AA national championship. And the year after that, they messed around and beat the Miami Hurricanes. The year after that. So I do believe, me personally, I have FAMU at a close second. But I definitely have Grambling State number one, man. Just because of what Eddie Robinson was able to do at his time there. Just the amount of NFL players he produced alone. And Grambling State produced the most first round draft picks out of everybody. I think they produced 3. I think Doug Williams was one of them. I forgot the other 2. But yeah, I definitely have Grambling State number one in terms of the most recognizable. But if Tennessee State was in the SWAC, I think that answer might be a little differently, because Tennessee State produced, I think, a little over 100 and something NFL players themselves, and with the most black college football championships. And out of everybody out of all the HBCUs, they have the most wins in terms of the FBS opponents. So, but yeah, that's really my to put it in a video form. That's my answer. But I definitely have Grambling State, but Jackson State and Southern is up there for me. But I didn't want nobody to leave out Tuskegee or Tennessee State. But that's really my answer for sure. But look, I know that everybody, and I don't want to think that it's so controversial. I really think that that's a majority thing. That I would think that Grambling State is number one in terms of the most recognizable. I would think so. What do y'all think? And not only all of that, Grambling State, they play in the most recognizable football rivalry in the Bayou Classic. That I think that's the number one rivalry game when it comes to HBCU football, period. Hell, I came from Connecticut to see the game. So, and when I was living in North Carolina, I've known plenty of people to travel to the game just to see the Bayou Classic. And listen, when I tell you that dog, I had one of the best times of my life going to the Bayou Classic, so I know.